When I bought this Ferrari, it was battered, bruised, had half an engine and a gearbox in a million pieces. I've since rebuilt the engine, rebuilt the gearbox with my dad. Ferrari. But in the last video, this kept overheating and we still can't get it in gear. But today, I'm gonna drive it for the first time. Hopefully. First problem we need to solve is this overheating issue. I've vacuum filled the cooling system multiple times, making sure that there was no air in there. We found out it had a faulty thermostat, so we removed that, but still, it overheats. But maybe there's another faulty component in the cooling system. Right, cold start, it should start up. Cold start is the only start we can do because anything over cold, it overheats. First time! I think maybe what we should do is first thing is see if the water pump is actually pumping water through the system, because if it's not, there's our issue. If it is pumping through, we surely have an airlock somewhere, but could that just be safe? I think we should take off one of these pipes, then we see if water's coming out. So I'm getting fans in the car, I'm getting heat in the car, which says to me the coolant is circulating. So has it just got an airlock? I don't know. Let's see if it runs the temperature now. For the blowers in the car to get hot, warm coolant has to circulate through the cooling system and into the heater core. The engine's right at the back on this Ferrari, and of course the heater core is inside the car. Therefore the water pump must be working because the coolant must be circulating from the back of the car and through into the heater core, which is why the fans are warm. So it seems our problem lies elsewhere. The Ferrari's now run up to temperature, so we should hear the coolant fans kick in to keep it running at the exact temperature. And it's hot air! Oh, it's hot air! One coolant fan has started to work, which is good news. Now we need to see if the coolant holds that temperature and doesn't get any hotter. Right, it's just crept over 100 degrees. If that temperature goes down, we're on to a winner. If it keeps rising, we have a problem. Has that one come on yet?
No.
Have we ever had this one on?
I don't think that one come on. I think that side came on, but that side didn't.
But it kept rising. Only one fan seems to be working. Way too hot, it's at 120 degrees. What I found out through my research is that this fan is supposed to come on at a certain temperature, and then if that temperature doesn't decrease, then it activates the right-hand fan. Don't know what logic that actually means. So the question is whether this fan even works. So I think the first step we're going to do is just put power directly to the right hand fan, and there's two relays here. That's for the left hand fan and that's for the right hand fan, I think. So if we pull the relay out, and then Dad's going to put power to it, and then we'll see if it comes on.
I would assume that the two big terminals are the power to the fan, and that's just the relay clicking.
So my dad's going to bridge the power using this wire, effectively cancelling out the relay's job.
That's one on.
And the fan turned on.
This one.
Oh, okay, so the relay's the other way around to what I said. So that's the fan, but that's the fan we know works. And now he's going to do the same for the other one.
I won't put that in yet. There you go.
Hey!
It works. Wait,
It sounds a bit sketchy.
but using my big brain, does that mean this is what the problem is?
It could mean that's what the problem is. But we've done some research before you got here.
All right, okay.
And we already switched the relays over, and that fan still comes on.
With the other relay.
With the other relay.
So the relay must be
The relay's good.
Now I'm confused.
To turn that fan on, it requires the coolant temperature sensor to turn that on. So when it gets to a certain temperature, which we know is working because the dashboard, it reads a certain temperature, it activates that fan. But when it reaches a further temperature, it needs something else, not a temperature sensor, but a temperature switch, which is just down here, like this switch right here. So there's a coolant temperature sensor,
that, and that is the switch.
All the switch does really is ground a circuit out. When one fan isn't cooling the coolant enough, the temperature of the coolant will pull down this disc here, pulling down the terminal to then create a full circuit which should turn on the other fan. To test this theory out, I've just disconnected the electrical connection and my dad is going to bridge the terminals together with his wire to see if the other fan comes on. Yes, the fan is turning on. Both fans are on. So both fans work, the relay works. So the weakest link here, we think, is that switch. So I'm straight on to order a switch, which was £78 plus tax, and it should be here tomorrow. But in the meantime, we've got a thermostat to change. The thermostat housing and the thermostat are directly after the water pump on this engine, and at the minute there's not one in there because ours was faulty. All it essentially does is stop the coolant flow going to the radiators to cool the coolant down when the car's trying to warm up. But then when the car gets to temperature, the thermostat opens, letting the coolant flow through the radiators and stay at the right temperature. Here's the new thermostat housing with the thermostat on, and one thing I've realised after watching this video, I've put a bit of gasket seal around it, but I've somehow completely missed off the seal. But we'll see if it leaks after we put coolant in. Thermostat housing is in. We're still waiting for the temperature switch, but one thing else we can do whilst we're waiting is these gear linkage aren't connected to anything. We've rebuilt the engine, we've rebuilt the gearbox, but we don't know whether the gearbox even works yet. We can put it into gear because we can move this around and get it into gear, which is what we did in the last video, but we don't know what gear it's going in, we don't know whether it works, we don't know if we can select gears. All we need is the stuff to hold these cables onto the gearbox, and so we can move them all around and connect it inside. Issue is with that, apparently according to Google, only 1,500 manual F430s were ever made. So finding all the manual mechanism, like the little arms and stuff like that, was an absolute mission, and all of this is to build up the mechanism in the gearbox. Me and Liam are going to build all this up. I can't really explain how this works. We're probably going to get it wrong. Let's just do it. Now there's lots of arms and there's lots of bearings to make this work. And all we've got is this diagram to put it all together. So we're hoping with a little bit of common sense and mostly winging it, we should be able to work out where all of this stuff goes. It's just like building Lego. All of these arms mount to the side of the gearbox and need to be able to swivel and move around when you move the gear shifter in the car, which will pull the cables either left, right, or up and down. I have to do a shout out to EAG USA for this part here, which mounts the cables to the side of the gearbox because they're no longer available from Ferrari. And this part is actually from a manual conversion kit, which Freddie has used, aka Tavares, on his 430 Scuderia. And I think we've just about sussed it out. We've got it on! But we're not sure whether it's correct. We are not sure whether this is correct. But we're going to find out. Stage 1 is seeing whether it will go into gear with the car not on. Stage 2 is finding out whether it will go into gear with the car on. And stage 3 is actually moving it and driving it. Stage 1, start. Right. In my opinion, this does not look right. It doesn't look right. Oh! Oh! Oh, it did something. It did something.
Why is it all the way over to the left?
It's really floppy.
It's an old car, man. You can't expect it to be stiff forever.
Yep. Something definitely didn't feel right with it. That second.
Something ain't right there.
So I was going to have to strip it apart to see if there was anything wrong. Because all this was taken apart when we got the car, so I'm just having a look, see if they've taken anything under here, which... Oh!
What's down there?
I think only one cable's connected. Oh, there's something broken! Liam, explain it in your best possible way.
Best
what's
possible
broken.
way is there's something that's broken that's there.
Off the
It's
side, yeah.
Dead flopper.
So, and that cable there is the forward and back cable, this one
Yeah.
at the bottom. So show that in action.
Can you see that?
I can see that, Liam,
Does that
thanks.
mean it's
Yeah.
only going into third and fourth right
Absolutely
now?
going into third.
It's,
and fourth.
yeah, potentially.
But then the other cable
So that's your sideway.
down there,
Yeah,
and this is sideways, but this bit snapped.
yeah.
So when you do this, it's not doing anything. But if you really launch it, look, Is that first thing?
That takes it down, and
But now this is
moves
popped
that.
out, so we can't get
So
third
you
or
can't
fourth.
go side.
So we need this part here, which I know is going to be very, 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 very difficult to find.
You'll be alright.
So let's see if it goes in third and fourth.
Yeah. Do you want me to send you up?
Yeah, send me up a bit and we'll see if it goes in third and fourth. Ready? Third gear.
It's going.
Yes! Okay, fourth gear, fourth gear. Oh! Oh. So, problem is that. So let's see if we can find one for sale.
Good luck.
Yeah, who the hell is going to be selling one of them?
Granddad's got one.
Has it?
No.
He's silly, isn't he? We found one. It is strangely still available from Ferrari, but at a price. £320 plus tax. So we're going to have to wait for that to arrive. In the meantime, the fan switch has arrived. So I can start to fit this, and then we can see if we can get the car running to temperature. So this is bad. It's almost as bad as buying a car and not knowing it was crash damage before you bought it. But here's the new one. This is the answer.
That's like a car vertical check.
This is like a car vertical check. Let me show you how this works and how car vertical checks work. It's easy to check your car out on Car Vertical. All you need is a registration number or a VIN number, and it works in over 20 different countries. You'll get a really in-depth check which looks like this, and you'll be able to see instantly whether your car's had any mileage fraud, whether it's ever been stolen, whether it's had any outstanding finance, or it's ever been in an accident. Not only will Car Vertical do that, it'll also show you a full timeline of the car. Every time it's been listed for sale, every time it's been an MOT check, and every time there's been a plate change or an ownership change. Connection is in. Time to fill up the coolant. Again, I'm going to be vacuum filling the coolant by connecting the vacuum filler, then the air line, which is going to suck all the air out of the cooling system and replace it with only coolant. Car Vertical is really a must for buying any car. The last thing you want to be doing is spending your money on a car which has got some sketchy history. Just like this Porsche GT3. Now, the best thing about Car Vertical for me is that if a car is previously been crashed, then on some checks you might actually see it will show you photos from the auction of where it was auctioned off at the car crash auction website. Pretty cool. The coolant is now being sucked out of that bucket and into the cooling system, hopefully without any airlocks. So that should be vacuum filled. Now, if you're thinking about buying a new car in the new year, please do check it out using Car Vertical first, and please do use discount code MATT on that check. It will save you money on that check, and it potentially will save you buying a lemon like most of my cars. Now, we're going to see if this runs to temperature. It's got to work this time. It's got to run to temperature, and we're all good.
If it doesn't work, could it be that little red box thing
Red box thing?
that was plugged in on the side of the...
Red box?
So the little red box things that were plugged into the side of the thing?
The relays.
Yeah, little red box. Sounds good.
Now it's just a case of waiting for the Ferrari to run to temperature. And when it did get to temperature, we're hoping it stayed there. And the fans came on.
I like a Ferrari.
We're hoping now that once the left side fan turns on, after a while, it activates the right side fan.
Come on, fans.
Yeah.
This one's on. No, this one's on. Is this one on? Yeah, it's on.
They're both on.
Yes!
It should stay at temperature now then. Both fans were working. And with both of them working, it should keep the car at the right temperature. It's at 90 degrees. Bang on. Staying at temperature. Yeah! It actually worked. So now we can start making this Ferrari look like a Ferrari. Welcome to my bumper shop. This has been freshly painted already. The car will be all detailed and matched, but this has all been painted by the body shop. Cheers, body shop. We've just got to complete it all with all this kit. The front splitter and that, which goes on here.
How much was that again?
It was expensive, wasn't it?
It was like 500
It was like 500 quid, yeah.
Nuts.
For that. It's like fiberglass. So I got to work with attaching the expensive splitters and all of the other parts which make up the F430 front bumper, like the front grills, and also the grills on the side as well. Whilst my dad got to work with putting the wiper linkage in, which we had to buy brand new second hand, and all the scuttle panels around the bonnet. And baby, cut yourself. And it was finally time to add the bumper. This is the first time I've seen it with a complete bumper on.
Oh, the Ferrari's a good looking car, isn't it? The F430.
It is, that is looking nice. And what we've done is black. These are normally grey, but anything grey is going black because I feel like it gives it more depth. Again, like the Murcielago, the bolts slide through the inside of the tub and then you have to add a nut on them. Then we can slot in the carpet to finish the tub up. And would you look at that, for a first fitment, it's looking pretty damn good. Now, let's head to the back. Onto the rear bumper. Now this one is OEM and it's also been painted in, I think it's called resale red actually. These heat shields bolt onto both sides, I assume to stop the bumper from melting. Then the top grille will also bolt onto the bumper. All of this I've had to order. And as you've guessed, and a lot of you are probably right on this, we've gone way over budget already. But I do think these manuals F430s will climb in price over the years. So all is not that bad. Wow! This bumper doesn't actually bolt straight to it. These are genuine Ferrari spacers because the stock bumper doesn't fit and they all come in different sizes. Like here's a thin one, here's a fat one, and these go like that in there and just space it out. Nice to know.
That is so Italian.
Again, just like the Murcielago, the rear bumper uses spacers. But that's the quirk of these older Italian cars, and that's the kind of thing I like about them. They're kind of like a glorified kit car. But don't tell Ferrari I said that. Just the last couple of bolts now for the rear bumper, and then I can move onto the rear diffuser, making an almost complete rear end. As some of you may notice, I am missing a few reflectors and registration plate lights, but they're on order. I tell you what, this is a good looking car. Every single piece I put on now is making a drastic improvement, and what once was, to me, felt like kind of an impossible build is slowly kind of feeling possible. But if you also said to me, Matt, the bumpers look a different shade of red to the rest of the car, then I kind of would have to agree with you. But remember, this paint is like a month old and this paint is like 18 years old. So I think maybe with like a good paint correction, we could probably get it pretty similar. Or I think afterwards, anyway, I've got to drop it down to the body shop, Allied Automotive, to touch up loads of little things on this car anyway. So maybe we just match it all in to get it absolutely perfect. But now, this Ferrari is really coming together. And to say neither me or my dad had any experience with Ferraris before this actually makes me really proud. It's just a huge achievement even to get this far. I guess hard work really does beat talent. And if this car actually runs and drives, it goes to prove it. There is still loads of engine covers and everything missing on here, which we'll get to, but we're not finally finished yet. But I did say, I think I said at the start of this video, I was going to drive it. And I want to keep to that promise, so, well, here goes nothing.
You can only get third gear.
Yeah, I'm going for third gear. So here goes nothing. It's not exactly finished, but I think it might be good enough just to roll it out in third gear. Some of you might notice it's still got odd wheels on. The paint isn't great, there's no seats in it, but none of this is gonna stop me from trying to drive it for the first time. Yeah, that'll do. Stop. Right. This is my first drive. 3rd gear.
Comfy seat.
Let's do it.
She sounds good.
3rd gear.
Wish I had a mockingbird. I wish I had a diamond ring. I wish I had a pink raincoat. Wish I had anything like you.
I don't know what his plan is now because he's literally gone down a straight with no way to turn around.
Wish I had a bubble gum. I wish I
Push the gear
had a
lever
zipper.
back.
Wish I had
Back.
a kaleidoscope.
Back. No, don't
Wish
put it
I
left,
had
don't
a
put it left, put it
pretty thing
Back.
like you.
Yeah, is that in? Is that in? Yes! We got reverse!
It's reversing, what?
We got reverse! The clutch feels good. It drove well.
I mean, it pulled off in 3rd. That's a sign that we were good.
Well, we built the gearbox, built the engine, and
They both worked.
it went in a straight line. Now, was going to attempt to try and get it into 1st gear. So, straight forward. Is that in? That's not in, that's not in. Go on. We might be too far. And not left, not left. You're going to trap my finger.
Are you trying to make me
You've
do?
just got to go forward. Don't do any left business. Yes, that could be 1st gear. That could actually be 1st gear. It is!
Oh my god. That sounds nuts. What the?
It was well fast! Oh my god!
I hit my back.
It was well fast! It actually works.
How have you put together a gearbox that works? I'm impressed.
It literally was just, it was wheel spinning.
Yeah, that sounded nuts from behind
that
as well.
sounded sick.
What do you think of the Ferrari?
I think it's great, and I love it.
Well, it kind of works. In the next video, we need to finish this thing. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, hit the subscribe button, hit that thumbs up button, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out. Did it go in from the front?
You've just done the same thing.
Anything grey is going black because I feel like it gives it more depth.
Something wrong with him.
Like a drug that I just can't deny.